Okay, I assume, let me see what time it's going on, 1 o'clock a.m. And I was getting ready to turn the TV off and call it a night. And as I was snuggling up under the blankets and everything, I went to reflecting on the many different relationships that I had. And 9 out of 10 of the serious relationships, they were all fiancés. We were in the status of calling ourselves, working towards getting married, but it never got to that point. So as I was reflecting, not that every relationship was basically all ended for the same reason, infidelity, but the reflection was, why was every relationship basically the same? And the way I classified the relationships to how I know going forward what my relationship the foundation will be based upon and how it will be built upon. But the way I'm classifying the past relationships, not knowing consciously that they were very immature relationships, no matter what the age ranges of each individual was, every relationship were all immature. Not the people included in the relationship, but the purpose of the relationship. Because as I'm growing within my spirit and within my wisdom of how to have relations with anybody, whether personal, platonic, or whatever the case may be, I'm growing in my wisdom on how to, decipher those where they fit in my life and how I would be responding to each individual in my life. Because I know whatever they do does not determine what I do. I know through my wisdom evolving, it all boils down to how am I perceiving and receiving and giving within whatever relationship it is. But regarding a intimate relationship, one that will lead into marriage and lifelong, those types of levels of higher commitments, because I don't want anything surface. I'm deep calling deep, But regarding classifying the relationship as immature or mature, the reason I would say the relationships are immature, I'll start with the immature. The reasons relationships within myself learning is classified as immature, no matter what the age range of these people, myself involved in the relationships, that's immaterial. But the reason it's being classified as immature because none of those relationships that I look back on had any purpose, meaning, future other than day to day, just going day to day. They had no future goals. What? The mundane, go to work, come home. Within myself personally, for one, I'm giving my best because I'm just doing me, and being immature to not even admit that the only thing I'm qualifying for a relationship is that a person's just in my presence, because there was no substance to the relationships. I could start saying maybe within the last couple of relationships I had, I was getting more mature on what a relationship should look like. But the other 8, they were very immature because I didn't see the substance within the relationship. And what I was calling substance within the individual, I was still immature to not realize the balance, the equality, or the mutual giving and receiving of the relationship. Because giving our best and doing our best, and the other person in the relationship is not giving and doing as much, their purpose is just really they're there. What they provide, I don't know. That's just it takes more than that. The relationship didn't have adventure. The relationship didn't have plans, vacations, just simplicity of a relationship. Just the point of we together every day. We laugh, we play, we eat, have sex. But if that's all the relationship is based upon, then I know now going forward, it takes a lot more than that. That relationship has to be looked at as a baby, whether it's a baby in the womb and it's being birthed. That baby is going to grow, to crawl, to walk, to run, to drive, to fly. So looking at that relationship as a living being, entity of its own, that relationship standing on its foundation has to have a purpose. The two joining together, becoming one, to do what? Why? Just to be together? So it's not the point of two individuals coming together for the company, for the companionship, which is what I guess is speaking to me now in my spirit. I don't just seek a companion. I don't just seek, I've got to seek something deeper than just a companion. It has to be a companion that we're connecting up with, that has a future goal, a future desire, plan, mission. So it somewhat has to be compatible. The two somewhat in some way has to have some compatibility other than physical attraction, chemistry, or just wanting companionship, or just for supplying needs, supplying wants. No, I mean, if these relationships are being put together by the Creator, by the divine, by the universe, however we want to call, it's not just for that. All of that will be included, but that relationship being put together, God is putting together another entity. What is I ain't gonna say alien or whatever. Another being. That relationship itself is alive. It's another living being, another living purpose, mission that God has breathed life into. So both individuals have to come together and become one on a mission. Become one on that purpose. Become one on the reason that relationship is being called to come together. This getting deep in my spirit, the way I'm seeing it. It's like you have two individuals. Those individuals aren't becoming one. The mission is becoming one. That purpose of that relationship is becoming one. Not the two individuals, because a healthy, mature relationship, each individual will keep their individuality. But what's becoming one? That purpose, that mission of why that relationship is being called together. We're becoming of one accord of the mind and the energy we put towards the mission, the cause, the purpose, the calling of that relationship. That's a mature relationship. When these two separate individuals are coming together, becoming one, what's becoming one? That mission for that unit, for those two coming together. Yes, the two individuals will be coming more in harmony, to flow in peace, to flow in, in just flow as harmony. But what is really becoming one in that relationship is that mission for that relationship. The two shall become one. What is becoming one? The two individuals? I'm looking at this thing different. It's not the two individuals becoming one. I think that's where a lot of things in relationships have been going left field, because we're trying to make two individuals become one. No, I'm a human being. They're a human being. But what is becoming one? I believe the mature evolution of the relationships, the higher levels of relationships, it's those missions, those purposes of why the relationships are coming together. The purpose is becoming one, not the two individuals becoming one. Because I'm not losing my life for another individual. And I don't want my companion, my mate, to lose their life to mold themselves into me either. We know that doesn't work. So it's not about, and we know we've grown from that. Nobody loses their self-identity just because of a relationship. No, you are who you are. And if a person don't like it, then we make the decision maturely, then is it best we separate? Because I'm not changing who I am just to please you, and I don't want you to change who you are just to please me. We somewhat have to compromise and where can we work it together that we can be at peace and at harmony, that we could keep this mission of this relationship, because God more so uses the purpose of the relationship to mature us as individuals in our spiritual growth. That purpose of that relationship is going to be the tool that's going to even be used to help our growth in our spiritual walk. And whatever purpose God put two people or groups or whatever units he put together, if they stay focused on the purpose, we won't be so focused on the different things that separates us as individuals. Because we don't have time to let things separate and cause havoc in the relationship, because we're too focused on each other. No, we got our eyes focused on the wrong thing. We should be focused on the mission, the purpose, the cause, the reason of why is this unit together anyway. And earlier today, I have 7 children. And God had all many years ago revealed to me each of my children's names described, because each of my children's name has even evolved on the levels of growth in my personal life. But now that has evolved to the level of growth of the humanities evolution as well. Because my last child, his name is, I'll just say the meaning. The meaning of his name is tree planted by the waters, whose roots are not easily removed. his first name and his middle name, and his last name is Lightburn. So the meaning of his first name and his last name, that means tree planted by the waters, whose roots are not easily moved. So that's as I've grown in my spiritual growth, the names of my children has even evolved to now it includes humanity. It not only shows the evolution of my personal life, it has now shown the evolution where God has it to even describe the growth of humanity. So we are at the point where humanity, we are being planted by calm waters, peaceful waters, and these roots go deep. That it's not just gonna topple over because of a flood. These roots are deep. They're rooted, grounded. Father, I don't know how did this connect with what this video started as. So the relationships, families, intimate relationships, peers, associates, business, whatever the case may be, if God has put it together, instead of focusing on individuals, to keep it divinely flowing in harmony, stay focused on the purpose, the mission, the reason. And we won't have time to keep our attention on this person doing this person ain't doing that. Now you're muddying the vision. And as we focus on the purpose of the relationship, that will aid as a tool being used to aid in our spiritual growth. I'm going to leave it there. Have a blessed night.